Now, whether you're a digital nomad, an expat, or just looking for a really cool vacation destination, today we're going to break down the pros and cons of living in Saranda, Albania. Hi, we're Joel.
And I'm Michelle, and we're the Wandering Hartz. We're helping you live a more abundant life abroad through slow travel. We've been traveling full-time since 2019 across the United States and Europe.
Now, the dream of traveling and living in Europe has a few hurdles to overcome, especially if you are from a country subjected to the Europe's 90-day visa limitation, like we are as US citizens.
So a common workaround in order to stay in Europe is to leave the Schengen zone at the end of your 90 days, and then spend the next 90 days in one of the handful of countries that are outside of the zone in order to reset your visa so that you can re-enter the Schengen zone again.
Albania is one of those European countries that is not subject to the Schengen zone visa restrictions, and it also offers a great opportunity for slow travelers and digital nomad alike.
So as American passport holders, we can take advantage of the special relationship between the United States and Albania, which comes with a one-year visa on arrival. So this opens a lot of opportunities for Americans wishing to live as expats in Albania.
Now, this is exactly what we did, and we chose to stay in Saranda, Albania, which is a popular resort town along the Albanian Riviera.
So let's take a closer look at the pros and cons of living in Saranda and explore what you need to know before you make a leap to this beautiful part of the world.
Now, of course, these are just our opinions and based on our experiences while we were living in Saranda, Albania. Also, by the way, you don't have to worry about taking notes, as we have a link in the description to our article where we go into more detail about this. Now, before we get into the pros and cons, we ask you to do us a quick favor and give the video a like and subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps us out a lot. It helps other people just like you who are interested in slow travel in Albania finding this kind of content.
Okay, so let's start with the pros of living in Saranda. So our number one pro is cost of living. So the cost of living in Saranda is relatively low, making it attractive for remote workers, freelancers, and also retirees. That was one of the main reasons why we chose to visit Saranda.
Pro number two is food and groceries. All throughout Saranda, you can find plenty of small markets and butcher shops where you can find fresh, tasty produce. There's also a few Western-style stores as well, like Spars, Halo, and even pharmacies like Rossmann's.
Number three is affordable accommodations. The city has affordable accommodation options, both short-term and long-term. And you can find accommodations ranging between $250 to $500 a month outside of peak tourist season. And peak tourist season is during the summer, so that's going to be June through about mid-September.
Pro number four is reasonably priced restaurants. There's a lot of different food options all throughout Saranda, everything from small places where you can get breakfast and coffee to like nicer restaurants and everything in between. As an example, we averaged about $18 to $25 whenever we'd go out to dinner for two people. That would be including entrees, drinks, and tax and tip.
So number five is climate and weather. Saranda has a Mediterranean climate with warm summers and mild winters, making it an ideal destination for sun seekers like us.
Pro number six is the Scenic Beauty. Now, from Saranda, you have absolutely lovely views of not only the Ionian Sea, but even the island of Corfu off in the distance.
Number seven is the close-knit expat community in Saranda. Saranda has a really great expat community, and we experienced that firsthand for ourselves. Everybody welcomed us in, and it was a great place to meet other travelers, nomads, locals, and expats living there.
Number eight is the relaxed Mediterranean lifestyle and friendly locals. Now, if you're into like a Mediterranean vibe, look no further than Saranda because it has that in spades. Between the beautiful weather, all the cafes and everything everywhere, and the really friendly locals, you can't go wrong.
Number nine is opportunities for recreation. Saranda has a ton of things to do, and you can go hiking, swimming, fishing, and within an hour's drive, there's also other things you can go see like Blue Eye. There's beautiful mountains that you can go see, Girocaster, and also national parks.
Number 10 Pro is beach activities. Now, we gave this one its own kind of category because we love the beach and there's a lot of great beaches that you can access pretty easily from Saranda itself. You can also take tours and things like that to get to some of the more remote beaches as well.
Number 11 is exploring historical sites. Saranda's location in the southern part of Albania offers really great access to many historical sites in the area. You can go to Butrint National Park. There's mountains you can go see in Gjirokastër. There's also Corfu, Greece, has lots of ruins as well.
Our final pro is safety and security. Albania is one of Europe's safest countries with very low violent crime rates, providing safety and security.
Okay, let's get into the cons of living in Saranda. Saranda offers a unique lifestyle with its own share of challenges. And number one would be the limited airport infrastructure. So there is one main airport, and that is located in Tirana, which is the capital of Albania. And from there, it takes about 3 to 6 hours to get to Saranda. That depends if you're going by bus or car. Alternatively, the closest airport to Saranda is actually on the Greek island of Corfu, and that is how we got to Saranda. We flew to Corfu, Greece, and then took the ferry over to the port of Saranda. So one thing to note with Corfu, the flights and ferries are seasonal, so you might have some limited options.
The second con is limited public transportation. Albania as a whole, and Saranda as well, has a little bit of an issue as far as accessibility for their public transportation. It's kind of difficult to find bus stops and figure out where the ticket offices are, as well as even finding schedules. Additionally, a lot of the buses and public transportation are fairly inconsistent.
Number 3 is construction. So the construction projects in Saranda can cause quite a bit of noise disruption, especially during the off-season. This is when the locals are trying to get projects complete so they're ready for the summer season. We personally experienced this just walking around Saranda. It can get quite loud. They literally jackhammer into the side of the mountain there, so just be mindful of that.
Number 4 con is it's very touristy. Now, of course, you can expect it to be touristy since it is literally in the Albanian Riviera, and it is a resort town. But of course, this means that you're going to see very crowded beaches as well as very crowded restaurants, especially in the summer months.
Number 5 con is aggressive transient travelers. So you may see some traveler families, mostly in the high season in Saranda. So it's mostly going to be children coming up to you and begging for money, and also invading your personal space. So it is kind of sad to see, but you just need to be mindful of kind of where they are and your personal belongings.
Number 6 is driving is chaotic and fast. And I mean no disrespect when I say this, but Albanians, as lovely as they are, they drive like they're in the Grand Prix. So it's basically pedal to the metal at all times. So you just gotta be really mindful of that, especially if you're trying to cross the street. There's not a lot of crosswalks in Saranda, especially once you get away from the promenade. So it does make it a little bit more difficult and challenging to navigate getting across the street.
Number 7 is it's not the most LGBTQ friendly. Albania is still a conservative and traditional country and maybe not as progressive as Western European counterparts. So it's advisable to just limit your PDA.
Number 8, it's not very handicap accessible. Saranda is built into the side of a mountain, and as you can imagine, there are a lot of hills, and with hills, you have a lot of steps as well. Additionally, the sidewalks aren't always in the best shape, and there's a lack of wheelchair ramps and even elevators allowing you to get from one street to the next.
Number 9 is litter. So after talking to some friends and expats that live there, we know that the trash and litter situation has gotten better. So while the promenade area and the water in Saranda, the beaches are very clean, once you kind of get outside of those areas, you'll still see quite a bit of trash.
The number 10 con is a language barrier. Of course, this is common through a lot of places, especially if you don't speak the local language. But with Albania, it's a little bit different because Albania is a very unique language. Now, many locals do speak some English, especially in the touristy areas. They also speak a little bit of Italian and Greek as well. But once you get kind of outside of that area, you're definitely going to be relying on something like Google Translate, especially when it comes to reading signage and also to help communicate.
Number 11 is cash is king. So cash is going to be your primary form of payment in Saranda. Few businesses accept credit cards, and if they do, it's mostly going to be in the tourist areas. ATM fees can be high, averaging around $5 to $6 US.
And number 12 con is building safety concerns. Now, building codes there are not necessarily up to what we're used to with Western standards. And so with that, you're gonna find a lot of little things here and there. For instance, both of our apartments that we stayed at, both had issues with the balcony. One, there was like massive gaps in the balcony where you could literally just squeeze through, or a small child could just walk through and fall like 5 stories to their death. And then the other one, the railing was just actually really low, where if you leaned on it at all, you'd also probably tumble over and fall to your death. So just be aware of that. Also, we never noticed any smoke alarms or fire suppression systems or anything like that in pretty much any of the places that we went to. I'm not saying they don't exist, just that we never noticed them. And in our apartments, neither one of them also had any fire suppression or fire alarms or anything. So if you plan on visiting Saranda, we definitely recommend that you reach out to the landlord for your accommodations. Make sure to see if they even have fire alarms or anything like that. Also, we highly recommend traveling anywhere, not just Saranda, but everywhere, with some kind of a portable smoke detector or carbon monoxide detector.
Overall, we really enjoyed our time in Saranda, and we actually have plans to return there in the future. Saranda checks a lot of boxes for us with its affordable cost of living, friendly locals, and its mild Mediterranean climate.
Additionally, its location in Europe and being outside the Schengen zone makes Saranda a very tempting option for remote workers and digital nomads. However, no place is perfect, and there are definitely some cons, like the lack of infrastructure, that might present some challenges to calling Saranda home.
So would you live in Saranda? And if you live there, did we miss anything? Let us know in the comments.
Now, if this video helped you, then do us a favor, give the video a like, or even subscribe to our channel. And if you're interested in learning how to live a more abundant life through travel, well, we invite you to check out our website and sign up to our newsletter. Happy wandering.
Happy wondering.